And Mayango is from here in Kenya. Now, on Tuesday this week, the Orange Democratic Party finally settled on a candidate to fly the party's flag in the upcoming Bonchari by-election. The party's Secretary General Edward Sifuna told a news conference that former Director General of the Energy and Petroleum Regulatory Authority, Robert Pavel Oimeke, had emerged as the most popular choice among the party supporters and presumably in the constituency. Now, on the face of it, this ought to be an internal party affair. The party has the nomination certificates and it can dish them out to whoever it chooses. Or so they would want us to believe. But we now know that what happens in a political party is our business. All of us, whether we belong to the party or not. First, for the simple reason that we, the taxpayers, now finance these political parties through the Political Parties Fund, which is allocated a whole 0.3% of the national revenue every year. In fact, in the last financial year, that is 2019 to 2020, ODM received from you, the taxpayer, some 363 million shillings. And just for perspective, Jubilee also got 564 million. In the current financial year, ODM was allocated 240 million shillings against Jubilee's 515 million. Now, those figures are based on the number of parliamentary seats won by a party. The rationale behind this arrangement, ladies and gentlemen, is that political parties advance democracy and enhance good governance. At least they are supposed to. And that is the reason for my angle tonight. You see, in December last year, Oimeke, who was the then IPRA boss, was arrested by EACC officials on allegations that he had received a 200,000 shilling bribe to reopen a petrol station in Oyugis that had been closed by the authority over some violations. Now, 4 days later, Oimeke was suspended by the IPRA board, which argued that the DG needed to clear his name in court over these graft claims. Now, that matter is still actively in court, and the courts will render their verdict at their own time. But the fact that ODM could settle for a man who is facing corruption charges before the courts must surely mean that a lot has changed in this country. And yes, a lot has changed with the Orange Party. Everyone will remember how in 2015 the entire ODM brigade, day and night, pushed for the resignation or sacking of Anwar Guru, who was then devolution CS, over the NYS scandal, even though she had not even been charged in any court. They adopted a similar stand when the then Treasury Secretary Henry Rotich was implicated in the Kimwarer and Aror Dam scandal. They demanded his resignation, again, even before Rotich was arrested and charged. And we could cite many other examples, but the point is made. Now, the question is this: has ODM undergone so much mutation that fighting corruption is no longer part of its DNA? I mean, that's what they told us before. Pavel Oimeke may well be innocent. But how does the party feel about having a candidate who will be reminded at every turn to go and clear his name first before running for anything? Can that candidate even promise the electorate that he will fight corruption and promote good governance when a dark cloud of suspicion hangs over his head? After all, one of the duties of a member of parliament is oversight. And by the way, if that candidate wins, can he, with a straight face, sit in those committee hearings about graft cases such as what we saw at KEMSA, or if something else were to happen at IPRA, where he has been? Ladies and gentlemen, there's a good reason why people are asked to step aside from public positions when they're implicated in such serious allegations as corruption. It is about public trust. Suspicion always erodes trust, and the only way to begin to clear one's name is to go through that court process and emerge on the other side victorious. Lady Justice Mumbi Ngugi, in the now famous ruling requiring governors charged in court to step aside, said, and I quote, "By allowing a government servant facing serious charges of corruption or misappropriation or embezzlement to be retained in service, public interest will be affected," end quote. I wonder what the good judge would say about presenting such a person for election. That is my angle tonight.